Hi there, and welcome to the Mindful Marathon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Quirk, a run coach and pediatrician. Mindful Marathon is all about helping runners of all types to run their own race. Whether you are a seasoned runner or you're just getting started, I want to let you know that you're welcome here and that you're in the right place. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I hope you're having a great start to your week. We have a great episode today, which we will get into in a minute, but I have a couple of announcements and housekeeping. So, the first thing is just a funny story. I think that I may have had some delusional thinking this past week. So we are still freezing here in Philadelphia, and we're not really, I feel like we're not used to this amount of like single digits and freezing weather for so long. And like the snow that we had a couple of weeks ago is still piled up all over the place. And city parking remains a challenge. So I had some magical slash delusional thinking that I would go down to the trail and see if it was runnable and maybe that the sun melted some of the ice down there, but it had not at all. And so, yeah, and also Punxsutawney Phil, bless his little heart, saw his shadow again. And so apparently we're having 6 more weeks of winter. So, yeah, I hope it's a little warmer where you are. And I know all of my listeners in places like Chicago are just laughing their heads off at all of this, but I am still freezing. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm bundled up over here. It's just chilly all the time. So I hope everyone is staying warm. The second thing is that I wanted to share a very lovely podcast review that a listener left for us, and I'm very, very grateful for this. So thank you to my listener who left this. She wrote lovely and thought-provoking practical advice. Every time I listen to an episode of this podcast, I collect practical guidance on how to add more joy to my life. I am recently retired from the rat race, yet I find the monkey mind didn't retire with me. Thanks to Dr. Quirk for helping us all find some sanity and balance in a world that is abundant with beauty if we only keep our attention in the right place. So, thank you for that really insightful and beautiful review. I really appreciate it. And if you are a listener and you haven't yet left us a review, I would appreciate it so, so much if you could take a couple of minutes and do that in the Apple Podcast app. It really helps others to find the podcast in the sea of running podcasts. So if you found an episode helpful, maybe just jot down your thoughts about it and submit it. I would so appreciate it. And then the last bit of news is very exciting news. Mindful Marathon officially has some custom gear. So I teamed up with the crew at Varlo Apparel, and they have designed custom singlets and hats for us. Now, this is available to everyone. You don't have to be a current athlete or a past athlete or anything like that. They are beautiful. If you go to the website at the link in the show notes, you will see the drawings, the mock-ups of them. I visited the Varlo headquarters. They're just across the bridge here in New Jersey. And I visited them last week and I was able to hold some of the other singlets and try it on and sizing and all of that. And they're made of it's a very lightweight wicking material, but it's also very heavy duty. And I'm just, now that I've been there, so excited to hold these in my hands and put them on. And also, they showed me a bunch of other things that they designed for other running clubs and triathlon clubs. And I have so many ideas for what I'd like to do and see next in the future. So the custom orders take about 2.5 months to come in once you order them. So it's a bit of a long leeway time. So this would be something that would be delivered to you probably in late April or early May. We're going to put the orders in February 15th and then they'll be shipped directly to your house. So you are welcome to order. peruse the website, see if you like the singlet and or the hat, and put those orders in before February 15th. This is your reminder. Okay? All right, now let us get into this episode, which I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. So, the title of this episode is What AI Can't See, the Human Side of Run Coaching. So, to set the stage and give you the background, so obviously I am a run coach, and over the last couple of months and years, I would say I've seen quite a rise in AI-based training plans and training apps to help runners. And I just kind of want to talk about whether I feel like AI can replace a human running coach. And some of these apps you may have heard of, you may have used yourself, things like Runna or Garmin Coach. I mean, honestly, you can even input data into ChatGPT and it will spit out a training plan for you. You answer a few questions, you can input parameters, you hit enter, and boom, you have a schedule that is generated for you. And, I think that sounds simple and cheap and very, very tempting. And so I want to break down things in more detail and say that there's much more to running and training than simply having a computer spit out a training plan. So we'll talk through what AI can do. We'll talk through what it can't do and the three big limits I see of using AI to help in our training. And then we'll talk about the value of a coach beyond plan writing and see what conclusions we can come to. So, the first part of this is what AI can do. So, on one level, we have free training plans that you can download on the internet or find in a book, right? So, what AI can do beyond that and do better than that is get a little bit more personalized. So, you can input your schedule and your goals and maybe some data points that will help you get a more personalized training plan. And the benefits would include a quick turnaround time. Like we talked about, you can input the data and hit enter and have a plan in seconds. You get some basic personalization. So you can usually choose things like your fitness level, your training days, and your race goal. And you can input even basic training paces based on maybe some past race times to give you an idea for your pacing. And it's budget friendly, so many are free or cost less than hiring a coach. But here comes some truths here, okay? The hardest part of my job as a human running coach is not writing someone a training plan. In fact, I would argue that that is probably the easiest part in this equation. If an athlete fills out my questionnaire in a lot of detail, which I want them to do, it's not all that difficult to generate a training plan and get it back to them within a reasonable time frame. The harder part of my job comes in editing the plan based on what comes up in an athlete's life during the training cycle. I have to anticipate needs before they happen. So things like how travel, illness, job-related stress, a sick family member or child all play into training. I have to anticipate when an athlete may be on the edge of overtraining and need a recovery week or need a couple of rest days. Or when a little bit of soreness or a niggle here or there could actually be the tip of the iceberg in terms of risk for an impending injury. And we need to take a big step back and reevaluate things in the training plan. I'll give an example. So I use an app called Final Surge to write training plans for my athletes. And I have them provide feedback after their run and their workouts. I'm especially interested in level of effort. So if on a run that was supposed to be, let's just say 3 miles at easy pace, conversational, they go ahead, they do the run, they write down a level of effort of 3 and say it felt fine. But then I look at the data and I see that their heart rate was more in like a zone 4 range instead of zone 2, where it really should be for easy pace. I ask how are other things going besides running and learn that the athlete is just getting over a cold and didn't sleep well the night prior to this run. So in the moment, we edit the rest of the week based on this detailed feedback, and then we go from there, crisis averted. So when I think about the limits of AI, okay, I'm going to give three big ones. The first is that AI struggles with deeper context. It does not feel the athlete, right? Our emotional state, stress level, life events, past patterns. It doesn't have that real world experience of, okay, what is this runner actually experiencing in this moment right now? It can spit out the plan, but it lacks nuanced context for that plan. The second big limit would be in terms of injury risk. So you can input where you're starting from and where you want to go, and that goal may be realistic or it may be unrealistic based on where you are starting from. But either way, AI is going to give you a way to connect those dots from A to B, even if that means a high volume of running and a high training load that maybe you are not used to. And maybe you shouldn't be starting from that place based on your running history. And that can lead to injury, but it can also just lead you to quit if you're not able to keep up with the training load if you're not used to it. So, to illustrate these couple of points, I want to give another example here of one of my athletes who really loves races. She loves race experiences. And when we started working together, I remember she sent me a list of about 15 races that she had signed up for over about a 6 month period and was like, please help. So we had to have a lot of discussions back and forth about expectations, where we're starting from, where we're going, which race is going to be the A race for this season that you truly want to go hard and all out for, and maybe try to PR, versus which ones are for fun, which ones are you doing at easy pace, maybe with your family. I cringe a little bit to think of what would have happened had she input all of those races into an AI-based tool and then followed whatever spreadsheet was spit out based on the inputs. I mean, I imagine likely overtraining, burnout, or injury if indeed she was really trying to race all of those. And, we won't know because we started working together and we haven't looked back, and that was about 5 years ago. So, the third big limit of AI I see as lacking accountability and adherence. So AI programs often lose users over the long term. In the weight loss world, there are a lot of AI-based apps that have been around for weight loss for a little bit longer. And they show this pattern over and over again that people will stick with it only for a short time and then kind of drop off. And human coaching improves retention and adherence in these programs. And I imagine we're going to have similar data in the endurance space. Now, we don't have as much data in the endurance sports world yet. I will say that one of my mentors attended the Endurance Exchange in Orlando last month, which is for a lot of triathlon coaches and other coaches in endurance sports. And there was data presented there that says a lot of people are trying an AI-based tool one time, but that they are not repeat users. So after they use it once, that's it, and then it drops off significantly after that. And I think that makes sense. So we talked about the limits of AI, and now I want to talk about the value of a coach beyond plan writing. So, as I said before, the training plan is just one part of my coaching framework at Mindful Marathon. I like to look at the whole person who is leading a very busy, very full life. Things like how sleep and stress are playing into our training, things like nutrition and fueling, mindset, mindfulness, your past history with running, be it positive or negative, your past injury history, your thought patterns. All of these things are important and go into the coaching program. So, in terms of a training plan, A coach can provide real-time adaptation. So, as I gave in the example before, I can adjust an athlete's training plan in real time based on any number of variables: travel disruptions, job stress, illness, emotions, poor sleep, signals indicating burnout or overtraining, and we need to take a step back. AI is limited to the data that it sees. It doesn't have the lived experience that I notice before it becomes a problem for my runner. That anticipating potential problems, AI is not able to do that. The other big point is that a training plan you can find online or that is AI based cannot take the place of a human accountability partner. Someone actually looking at your runs and giving real-time feedback and encouragement. And your AI app can even send you text encouragement during your race, but that's not really the same as having your human friends, family, and run coach provide that same encouragement. Texts, voice notes, being present at a race in person and cheering, running a race next to you, giving you a hug and a high five at the finish line. I mean, these things to me are irreplaceable. And empathy is not something that I've found in a robot. I don't know about you. So, some closing thoughts. Am I worried about AI replacing my job as a run coach? Not at all. The core of my job is not plan writing. And I think the many missing pieces with AI include and are not limited to interpretation, adaptation, accountability, mindset, and strategy. So many things. The emotional side of coaching, encouragement, empathy, listening, to me, these are not quantifiable and you can't input the data and get an output from that. So I want to leave you with a question, which is, what is one thing a coach has done for you that AI never could? What is one thing a coach has done for you that AI never could? So I want you to DM me the answer. I'm on Instagram at mindful.marathon. If you're not on social media, don't worry. You can also email me. I really want to know what the listeners think about this question. One thing a coach has done for you that AI never could. Because I really don't think that they can replace the human aspect of coaching. They just can't. So that is all I have for you this week. Remember, if you would like a customized Mindful Marathon singlet or hat, if you want to check those out, follow the link in the show notes to see what they look like and place your order by February 15th. And I will see you next week. Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it with a friend. And if you have a moment, please rate and review the podcast so that we can reach and encourage others to tie on their sneakers and join us out there on a run. See you next time.